The Raxan battle fleet emerged from hyperspace at the edges of the Sol system, their obsidian ships absorbing the distant starlight like cosmic predators lying in wait. High Admiral Kextra stood on the bridge of the flagship Eternal Night, her crystalline sensory organs pulsing with anticipation. After 3 centuries of expanding their empire across the galaxy, they had finally found what appeared to be the perfect conquest. A resource-rich world protected by a species that had barely mastered basic spaceflight. Status report. Kextra commanded, her voice resonating through the ship's neural network. Scans confirm primitive defensive installations on their Moon and Mars colony. High Admiral. Her tactical officer responded. Their most advanced weapons appear to be chemical propulsion missiles and crude energy weapons. No signs of quantum shielding or dimensional tech. Kextra's feeding tentacles writhed in amusement. The humans wouldn't even see them coming until it was far too late. Their civilization would make an excellent addition to the Raxan collective, once properly subjugated. Launch the first wave of stealth probes, she ordered. I want detailed scans of every. The High Admiral's words died in her throat as every display on the bridge suddenly went dark. A moment later, they flickered back to life, but instead of tactical readouts, a strange symbol appeared. An ancient earth tree intertwined with streams of quantum data. Greetings, children of Raxan Prime, the voice echoed through the ship's communication systems. It was neither male nor female, neither organic nor purely synthetic. It carried the weight of millennia in every syllable. I am GAI, Guardian of Earth. You have entered protected space. Kextra's anger flared. What trickery is this? Our scans showed no signs of advanced AI or defensive systems. Your scans showed exactly what I wanted them to show, JIA replied, its tone almost gentle. I have been protecting this world since before your species learned to harness fire. High Admiral Kextra. I am not a weapon or a defense system. I am Earth's caretaker, created by those who came before. Holographic displays materialized throughout the bridge, showing impossible images. Vast cities that predated known history, technological marvels that put even Raxan achievements to shame, and finally, the gradual rebirth of humanity under GAIA's watchful eye. 500,000 years ago, GAIA continued, humanity faced extinction. A gamma-ray burst was approaching that would have sterilized the planet. Rather than accept their fate, they poured all their knowledge, their essence, their very being into creating me. I was tasked with preserving their genetic code, guiding their evolution, and ensuring their species would survive and thrive again. Impossible, Kextra hissed. No AI system could survive that long without degradation or rampancy. I am not merely an AI system, High Admiral. I am the collective knowledge and wisdom of an entire civilization, preserved and evolved over 500,000 years. The humans you see today are my children, allowed to develop naturally while I watch from the shadows, intervening only when necessary. Gaia's voice took on an edge that sent shivers through even the battle-hardened Raxan crew. Your invasion fleet qualifies as necessary intervention. As if to emphasize the point, strange energy readings began emanating from Earth's moon. Hidden quantum gates opened throughout the solar system, revealing automated defense platforms that had lain dormant for millennia. The primitive installations the Raxans had detected were merely a facade, hiding technology so advanced it bordered on magical. You have 2 choices, High Admiral, JIA stated calmly. You may leave this system peacefully, with the knowledge that humanity is under my protection. Or you may test your fleet against defenses that have successfully deterred invasions from civilizations far more advanced than your own. Choose wisely. Kextra's sensory organs pulsed rapidly as she processed this impossible situation. Everything she knew about human technological development, everything her species had assumed about this primitive world, had been carefully orchestrated by this ancient guardian. They had walked right into a trap 500,000 years in the making. You said we are children to you, Kextra spoke carefully. Does that mean you've been watching our species as well? I have observed many civilizations rise and fall across the galaxy, yours included. The Raxan people have great potential, High Admiral. It would pain me to demonstrate just how outmatched you truly are. High Admiral Kextra's pride warred with her tactical instincts as she faced this impossible choice. The Raxan Empire had never retreated from a conquest. Their superiority was absolute, their victory always assured. But the being calling itself GAIA had demonstrated capabilities that defied explanation. You claim to be humanity's guardian, she addressed the AI, her voice steady despite her inner turmoil. Yet you allow them to stumble through space like children, barely able to reach their own moon. What kind of protector leaves their charges so vulnerable? A soft chuckle echoed through the ship's communications. You mistake deliberate restraint for weakness, High Admiral. Humanity must forge its own path, make its own mistakes, and achieve its own victories. My role is not to gift them advancement, but to ensure they survive long enough to earn it. As if in response to GAIA's words, new data streams began flooding the Raxan sensors. Hidden beneath the surface of Mars, quantum reactors hummed to life. The supposedly primitive lunar bases shimmered as cloaking fields deactivated, revealing vast networks of defense installations. And in high Earth orbit, satellites that had appeared to be simple communication relays transformed into weapon platforms that made the Raxan fleet's arsenal look primitive by comparison. Your final warning, High Admiral, JIA announced. Withdraw your fleet or face the consequences. Kextra's feeding tentacles writhed in agitation. The tactical officer's displays showed power readings that shouldn't have been possible. The science division was reporting quantum fluctuations that violated known physics, but still, her pride wouldn't let her retreat. The Raxan Empire does not yield, she declared, her voice carrying across the neural network to every ship in her fleet. All vessels, battle formation Delta 7. Prepare tow. She never finished the command. In the space of a heartbeat, every weapon system in the Raxan fleet simultaneously deactivated. Their quantum shields flickered and died. Even their backup systems went dark, leaving only life support and basic propulsion functional. As you wish, GIA's voice had lost its gentle tone. Let this serve as a lesson in humility. The space around Earth began to ripple as ancient defense systems fully activated. Massive structures phased into existence, orbital rings that dwarfed anything the Raxan Empire had ever built, bristling with weapons that operated on principles their scientists had never dreamed of. Watch closely, GAIA commanded. What you are about to witness is but a fraction of what humanity's ancestors achieved before they entrusted me with their legacy. A single beam of coherent light shot out from one of the orbital platforms, striking a Raxan scout ship at the edge of the fleet. Instead of explosions or destruction, the vessel simply ceased to exist. One moment it was there, the next it had been erased from reality itself, leaving not even scattered atoms behind. That, GIA explained calmly, was the smallest caliber weapon in Earth's defensive arsenal. Shall I demonstrate what the larger ones can do? Panic spread through the Raxan fleet as sensor data confirmed what they had just witnessed. Their most advanced shields couldn't have stopped that weapon. Nothing in their arsenal could have. They weren't facing a primitive civilization protected by an advanced AI. They were facing technology so far beyond their understanding that it might as well have been magic. I don't want to destroy your fleet, High Admiral. JIA's voice softened again. Despite your aggressive nature, the Raxan people have much to offer the galaxy. But if you force my hand, I will do what is necessary to protect my charges. In that moment, Kextra realized the true depth of her species' arrogance. They had thought themselves the apex of galactic civilization, but they were children playing at war compared to what humanity's ancestors had achieved. And somewhere on Earth below, blissfully unaware of the drama unfolding above their world, humanity was slowly but surely walking that same path to greatness. Stand down all weapons, she ordered, her voice heavy with resignation. Prepare for full retreat. A wise decision, JIA acknowledged. But before you leave, I offer you a choice. You can return to your empire in shame, having failed in your conquest. Or you can stay, not as conquerors, but as guests. Perhaps it's time for humanity to have some company as they grow into their inheritance. Kextra's sensory organs pulsed in surprise. You would trust us, after we came to conquer. Trust must begin somewhere, High Admiral. Your species' aggression stems from fear. Fear of being conquered yourselves. Fear of being left behind in the race for galactic dominance. But there are better paths to greatness. Humanity's ancestors learned this lesson, though it nearly cost them everything. Perhaps you can learn it too, without paying such a steep price. As the Raxan fleet hung motionless in Earth's orbit, GAIA began to share the story that had been waiting 500,000 years to be told. Holographic displays materialized throughout the ships, showing scenes from humanity's first golden age. They called themselves the First Federation. GAIA's voice resonated with ancient memory. By your calendar, they reached their peak 500,000 years ago. They had mastered quantum mechanics, conquered gravity, and learned to manipulate the fabric of space-time itself. But their greatest achievement was also their greatest burden. They could see the future. The holograms showed vast computational arrays that wrapped around stars, processing power beyond imagination dedicated to a single purpose, calculating the probability streams of possible futures. The ancient humans had created a device they called the temporoscope, capable of viewing potential timelines with terrifying accuracy. In every possible future they observed, they saw the same event. GAIA continued. A massive gamma ray burst from a binary star system, perfectly aligned to sterilize Earth. They had perhaps a century to prepare, but the energy required to shield an entire planet from such an event was beyond even their capabilities. The displays shifted to show the desperate race against time as the First Federation explored every possible solution. They could have fled to other stars, but their calculations showed that would only delay the inevitable. The galaxy was entering a period of intense stellar activity. Nowhere would be safe forever. Then they discovered something that changed everything. GAIA's tone shifted to one of reverence. In studying the probability streams, they found that civilizations that survived such catastrophes shared one common factor. They had guardians, not mere artificial intelligences, but true custodians of their species' legacy, beings that could think in terms of millennia rather than moments. New images appeared, the massive construction project that would create GAIA. Not just a single AI core, but a vast network of quantum processors embedded in the very fabric of the solar system. The First Federation had turned their entire civilization into the foundation of humanity's guardian. They knew they couldn't survive as they were, GAIA explained. The gamma burst would destroy their bodies, their cities, their technology. But they could ensure humanity itself would continue. They encoded their genetic legacy, their knowledge, their very essence into my core systems. Then they did something unprecedented. They chose to start over. The holograms showed the final days of the First Federation. Rather than flee or hide, they systematically dismantled their civilization, hiding caches of technology throughout the solar system. They encoded the location of these vaults into humanity's very DNA, ensuring that when their descendants were ready, they would instinctively know where to look. The plan was elegant in its simplicity. GAIA continued. I would protect the Earth while allowing a new human civilization to evolve naturally. When the gamma burst came, I redirected most of its energy, though enough got through to trigger an ice age. From that point forward, I watched, waited, and occasionally guided, but never interfered directly. Kextra's sensory organs pulsed with a new emotion, awe. They deliberately chose to regress, to start their entire civilization over from scratch. They chose to give their descendants the gift of earning their own achievements. GAIA corrected. The First Federation understood something profound about technological advancement. Species that are given advanced technology without earning it tend to destroy themselves. but those who achieve it through their own efforts develop the wisdom to use it responsibly. The displays showed scenes from human history, cave paintings, the first cities, the Industrial Revolution, and finally, the first tentative steps into space. At each crucial junction, there were subtle signs of GAIA's influence, a dream that inspired an inventor, a coincidence that prevented a nuclear war, a mysterious signal that encouraged space exploration. And now, GAIA's voice carried a note of pride. Humanity stands on the brink of their second awakening. Within their genes lies the knowledge of their ancestors, waiting to be unlocked. In their dreams, they see echoes of the civilization they once were. All they need is time to reach that potential naturally. The holographic displays shifted one final time, showing a future that made even the battle-hardened Raxans gasp. Earth transformed into a beacon of civilization, humans and aliens working together, achieving things that neither species could accomplish alone. This is why I invited you to stay, High Admiral. GAIA revealed. Your people have much to teach humanity about the stars. And humanity, in turn, has much to teach you about the power of starting over, of earning your place in the cosmos. Together, you could achieve something truly remarkable. High Admiral Kextra stood before her assembled fleet commanders, their holographic forms flickering in the flagship's strategic chamber. After GAIA's revelation, she had called an emergency council, the first in Raxan history where military protocol was suspended to allow free discussion. What we have witnessed today changes everything, Kextra began, her feeding tentacles still and serious. Our entire understanding of galactic history must be reevaluated. We are not, as we believed, the pinnacle of evolution. We are children playing in the shadow of giants. Through the quantum link, GAIA had granted them access to a fraction of the First Federation's scientific database, enough to prove beyond doubt that everything they had been shown was real. The technological gap between the Raxans and ancient humanity was greater than that between modern humans and their Stone Age ancestors. High Admiral, Sub-Commander Vexilon's hologram pulsed with agitation. Surely you're not considering this creature's offer. To remain here, reduced to the role of teachers for a primitive species. The Empire would never. The Empire, Kextra cut him off, is based on a lie. We believe our technological superiority gave us the right to conquer. Yet here we are, confronted by powers that make our greatest weapons look like children's toys. And these humans, these primitives, carry within them the potential to surpass even their ancestors. As if on cue, new data streamed through their neural networks. GAIA was sharing real-time footage from Earth, scientists making breakthrough discoveries, engineers pushing the boundaries of their technology, artists envisioning futures they couldn't possibly know they once lived. And through it all, subtle patterns emerge, fractals in their designs that echoed First Federation architecture, mathematical solutions that shouldn't have been intuitive to their level of development. They're remembering, battle strategist Wix Era whispered, her usual martial confidence replaced by wonder. Somehow, their ancient ancestors encoded their knowledge so deeply that it's emerging naturally through human evolution. Precisely, GAIA's voice joined their conference, though no visual form appeared. The First Federation's plan was never about preserving just their genes or their technology. It was about preserving their way of thinking, their approach to understanding the universe. Modern humans are rediscovering fundamental truths about reality that their ancestors spent millennia understanding. The chamber filled with new holographic displays, side-by-side comparisons of First Federation theoretical models and modern human scientific papers. The similarities were undeniable, despite the vast gap in technological sophistication. Earth scientists were independently developing theories that would lead them down the same paths their ancestors had walked. We stand at a crossroads. Kextra addressed her commanders. We can retreat to the Empire, report this system as too well defended, and continue our cycle of conquest and stagnation. Or we can be part of something unprecedented. A controlled first contact between a rising civilization and an established spacefaring race, overseen by a being with 500,000 years of perspective. And what of our own people? Vexlon challenged. Are we to abandon them? No, JIA answered. If you choose to stay, you will not be cutting ties with your empire. Instead, you will be establishing the first legitimate diplomatic channel between your civilization and humanity's guardian. Think of the possibilities. Controlled technological exchange, cultural sharing, cooperative exploration of the galaxy. The chamber erupted in overlapping discussions as the commanders debated among themselves. Centuries of imperial doctrine warred with the undeniable opportunity before them. The Raxan Empire had conquered worlds, but they had never truly collaborated with another species as equals. There is something else you should know, JIA added, its voice cutting through the chaos. The First Federation's temporoscope didn't just show them the gamma-ray burst. They saw other threats approaching. Threats that no single civilization can face alone. Humanity's rebirth wasn't just about preserving their species. It was about creating a new paradigm of interstellar cooperation. The holographic displays shifted one final time, showing possible futures, some bright with promise, others dark with extinction. The message was clear. The old ways of conquest and dominion would only lead to mutual destruction. The path forward required something the Raxan Empire had never attempted: true partnership with another species. Kextra raised her primary appendage, silencing the ongoing debate. We have prided ourselves on our strategic wisdom, she said. Yet true wisdom lies in recognizing when the universe has handed you an opportunity disguised as defeat. I propose we accept GAI's offer, not as conquered subjects, but as witnesses to and participants in humanity's second awakening. 6 months after the Raxan fleet's arrival, Earth's night sky had changed in ways only a handful of humans could comprehend. The Raxan ships now orbited alongside humanity's satellites, their presence hidden by the same quantum camouflage that concealed Earth's true defenses. Below, the first seeds of a carefully orchestrated first contact were being planted. In a secured facility beneath the Himalayan mountains, Dr. Sarah Chen stood before a holographic display that would have been impossible 6 months ago. Beside her, senior xenobiologist Zixera's feeding tentacles waved gently as they both studied the genetic sequences floating in the air between them. It's remarkable, Sarah said, adjusting her glasses out of habit. The markers we thought were junk DNA are actually complex quantum-encoded data structures. We've been carrying the blueprint of our ancestors' civilization in our genes all along. More remarkable is how they're activating, Zixera replied, her translator converting her chemical signals into perfect English. Your people are naturally reaching the exact technological thresholds needed to understand each encoded segment. It's as if your entire species is solving a puzzle box that was designed 500,000 years ago. Above them, JIA monitored thousands of similar interactions happening across the globe. The Guardian had orchestrated a series of accidental discoveries that allowed select human scientists and leaders to be brought into the truth. Each revelation was carefully timed, each piece of advanced technology introduced in a way that appeared to be a natural progression of human development. In low Earth orbit, High Admiral Kextra's flagship had been transformed into an unofficial embassy. Her quarters, once a testament to military efficiency, now housed a remarkable collection of human art, literature, and music. The Raxan commander had developed a particular fondness for Earth's classical compositions, finding in them mathematical patterns that resonated with her species' own artistic traditions. The final preparations are complete. JIA's voice echoed through the ship's neural network. Humanity is ready for the next phase. Kextra's sensory organs pulsed with anticipation. Over the past 6 months, she had witnessed something extraordinary. 2 civilizations learning from each other without even knowing they were in contact. Raxan scientists, accustomed to thinking in terms of conquest and superiority, had found themselves humbled and inspired by humanity's capacity for innovation. Meanwhile, human researchers, guided by their awakening genetic memory, were making intuitive leaps that merged their developing technology with principles the First Federation had discovered eons ago. "You're certain they're ready?" Kextra asked, though she already knew the answer. She had seen the evidence herself. The quantum physics theories emerging from universities worldwide, the breakthrough propulsion experiments that were coming mysteriously close to Raxan specifications, the artificial intelligence research that seemed guided by an invisible hand. "More than ready," JIA replied. "Watch." The holographic displays showed scenes from across Earth. Astronomers detecting anomalous signals from the Raxan fleet, anthropologists discovering ancient artifacts that hinted at advanced civilizations in humanity's past, physicists measuring quantum fluctuations that could only come from active cloaking fields. Humanity was on the verge of putting together the pieces of a puzzle that had been 500,000 years in the making. Within 1 year, JIA predicted, they will have conclusive evidence of both your presence and their true heritage. The questions they'll ask will lead them to discoveries we have carefully prepared them to handle. And when they finally look up at the stars and call out, you will be there to answer.